Hi everyone, my name is Trang Dinh, and tonight I'm going to be talking about why you should look into adopting pets from your local shelters rather than buying from pet stores at local malls. So as you remember, I got my Pomeranian from the Virginia Beach SPCA and we rescued her, and she is a real rescue. Now, I know that everyone, at least once or twice in their lives, wonders if getting a pet is right for them, and you look into, like I said, private breeders, SPCA, adoption shelters, or puppy stores. Now, I want you guys to understand something when you're looking for animals. The animals that you see in pet stores are usually from puppy mills, and I'm not sure if most of you have heard of a puppy mill, what it is, and what it's about. So, I learned about puppy mills a few years ago when I was watching a documentary on TV. And basically what puppy mills are and what they do is they have a certain animal, and it's the mother, and she creates constant litters so bad that her nipples are dragging to the floor because she has produced so many babies and she's giving them so much milk. And the cages are small, and these animals, like the mothers, are confined to these cages their whole entire lives. They have no human interaction, and their sole purpose is just to make puppies, and that's all they're around for. And usually after the puppies, the mother has bred enough and her fertility becomes low, she's either sold very cheaply to another puppy mill to get at least one more litter out of her, or she's killed because she has no more use to that puppy mill. And these puppy mills generate hundreds of thousands of animals. And sometimes your puppy that you buy from a pet store, it's from a puppy mill, and because they have been bred so much, some of them are inbreds, and they're bred with brothers and sisters, or the mother is bred with her son, and so that can cause defects in your animal. And if you want to buy from a pet store, that's fine. However, I think you should do your research properly and carefully to make sure that you're not supporting a puppy mill. It affects millions of puppies because there are so many being produced at one time, and there's about a dozen puppies in a tiny cage. Can you imagine living in a wired cage stacked on top of each other with 5 other people? It's not really comfortable, it's not safe, and it's not sanitary, and these poor animals are currently going through it. Now, if you're really looking into animals, I believe that you should look into adopting from your local shelter, because then you really are rescuing a puppy or an animal from possibly being euthanized. And there are many benefits to adopting, in my opinion. For instance, if you adopt a dog, usually they have been trained, and most of them are given up because owners are moving and they can't take their animals with them, or they're moving into different apartment buildings, and of course the apartment building doesn't allow the animals. And so the puppies, the kittens, they're trained and they're calm because they're out of their puppy stage, and they have so much character. For instance, when we adopt Zoe, she was already partially trained, and there's another great benefit. They're so much cheaper than buying from a pet store. Now, you may think that you're rescuing a dog when you buy them from a pet store, from puppy mills. However, there is a false tale to that. When you buy a puppy from a pet store, you're not rescuing a puppy. You're, however, supplying that puppy mill with money and more space to create additional litters. And also, when you adopt from the local shelters, they spay your animals or neuter them depending on the sex of the animal, of course, and they give you medications, and they also microchip them for you. For Zoe, we paid $185 to get her spayed, microchipped, and tons of medications for almost up to a year. However, there are other ways to getting your animal. You can always buy from private breeders. My advice is when you buy an animal anytime, you should look into the breed itself. Do your homework, because not all dogs are the same. And if you do want to buy from puppy stores, there are certain stores that get their supply from private breeders. You just have to, as I said, do your research and make sure that these puppies aren't coming from puppy mills, because there are defects. For instance, from personal experience, I knew somebody that bought a dog from a pet store because she was so drawn to the cuteness of the puppy, and puppy actually had a brain defect and she had to have surgery performed on them. And when you buy them from the pet store, you buy them as they are, and you most of the time will be paying thousands of dollars out your pocket because you love your animal so much. And you honestly should not support that kind of movement. I got all my information from the Humane Society if anyone is interested in looking more into puppy mills and how to sign the petition against them. No matter what the government does, it's really hard to stop the puppy mills. The Humane Society actually does seize a lot of the animals, and it's very hurtful to see these beautiful creatures that were given to us used for one purpose only, and to see the mothers so drained of energy from having so many babies. Would you have kids to purposely only want them to have more kids to the point where they cannot function anymore, and that you would just kill them off when they're no longer to use of your services? No, and this is what a puppy mill is. So again, I urge you to always look into your local shelters, and when you're adopting, they are legit, they're very helpful and very kind. So as you look into buying a puppy, as I said, do some background research on the breed of your dog. Do background research on the pet store itself. And if you don't want to adopt from your local shelter, you can always look into private breeders, because private breeders, mainly, they don't get them from puppy mills, obviously, because it causes birth defects. So I hope tonight you guys take away what I've said when you look into buying an animal. And I hope you look into adopting an animal from the shelter to prevent them from being euthanized. And I hope you save a life one day. Thank you very much.